stewardess, I have a vegan meal ordered. She would jump back like I had a communicable disease. You know, look at where we are today. You get on an airplane, they won't even feed you, let alone give you a vegan meal. But we've come a long way, but we got a long way to go. We need to understand that we're digging more graves today with our fork than any other tool. 1 out of every 2 Americans dying today is dying of heart disease. 1 out of every 3 Americans today has cancer. 1 out of 4 is dying of cancer. In the next 14 months, we will have more Americans die from cancer than we have had killed in all of the wars we've ever fought. I drove down the street today. A group of people are standing up with signs saying, "Stop the war." Where's the group of people standing up and saying, "Stop killing yourself with your fork"? But you know, here I was, started out, thought it was all about the environment. Then I became a vegetarian. Wow. I can remember my hometown newspaper, Great Falls, Montana. They put my picture on the first page and they said, "Montana's most famous vegetarian." I picked up the phone, I called them up and I said, "Why don't you tell it the way it is? Montana's only vegetarian." And they said, "Oh no, we got one of you kind of guys here at the paper, so we know there are 2. So for 1 year, I'm a vegetarian. I eat no meat. The mainstay of my diet, lettuce and dairy products. Cheese, oh Lord, I'm glad that I can still eat cheese. At the end of 1 year, I decided I was the greatest hypocrite in the world, and I decided to become a vegan. Oh my God, what are you going to eat as a vegan? No dairy? Lettuce? Lettuce with what? Carrots? 18 years ago, I became a hardcore vegan. I used to go to universities and, you know, a vegan does not wear leather. Sure enough, I'd go with a group like this and the first thing somebody would ask me is, "Are your shoes made out of leather? What's your wallet made out of?" So I started wearing non-leather shoes. Hemp wallet. Wear it out, you can smoke it. So I would take my shoe off and I would kick it out in the audience so they could see that I was not wearing leather shoes. And you damn college students kept stealing my shoes. I can't tell you how many times I went home with 1 shoe. But I was smart enough, I bought the same kind of shoes and then I would kick the other one out the next time. So, here I am. I'm going around and I'm talking to people about not eating animal products. I'm talking to them about global warming. You know, Al Gore. I worked with him in Washington, D.C. Al Gore, Mr. Global Warming himself. Isn't it amazing? He wrote a book, did a video, ended up with the Nobel Prize, and never one time did he ever talk about the #1 cause of global warming, which happens to be confinement livestock. Ask yourself the question, why is it that a guy that spent his entire career on the issue of global warming would not know that the #1 cause of global greenhouse gases is confinement livestock? Or was it the fact that he was raising Black Angus cattle and he thought maybe it was not good for business? You know, we gotta be able to look in the eyes of a child. We've got to be able to say to them, I can't do everything, but I'm going to do everything that I can do. And so I traveled around. I talked to people about my learning curve. I can remember when I became a vegan, my blood pressure went from sky high to normal, my cholesterol from 300 to 135. I lost 130 pounds. I'm telling you what, I was on top of the world. I knew the answer. I couldn't hardly wait to tell somebody about why they should become a vegan. I decided I would even talk to my mother-in-law. My wife and I have been married for over 40 years. Never one time in 40 years have I ever regretted marrying my wife. Now, she can't say that, but I married better than she did. But I will tell you that 40 years ago, she came with a mother that has been a severe test. I'm thinking about telling my mother-in-law about my diet, even though it had the potential to extend her life. I thought about that for a long, long time. But I thought it was the right thing to do, and I picked up the phone, I called my mother-in-law, and I said to her, I said, hey, Marge, I want to talk to you about my new diet. On the other end of the phone, I heard it go click. I can distinctly remember looking up and saying, thank you, Lord. But I thought it was too direct of an approach, and so I called her back, and I said, Marge, why don't you and Ralph come to our house for Thanksgiving dinner? And she said, you won't have turkey. I said, I guarantee you that if you come, we will have turkey. She agreed to come. She knew she had me eating crow. Thanksgiving Day, my mother-in-law came in the house like a rocket. Immediately to the oven. She jerked open the oven. No turkey. She looked in the refrigerator. No turkey. She even checked out the dryer. No turkey. And she said to me, you guaranteed we'd have turkey. I took my mother-in-law by the hand. Fortunately, I was wearing my gloves. I took her to the back door. I opened up the back door, and in the backyard I had a live turkey. I gave my mother-in-law an axe. Not a real good idea to give your mother-in-law an axe. And I said to her, if you want that turkey, you've got to kill it. Now, this story has got good news and bad news. Good news is that turkey's still alive. The bad news, so's my mother-in-law. But you know, it does not work to point at somebody and say, let me tell you what you ought to eat. You don't change anybody. It's all about walking your talk. It's about doing what you profess to believe in, waiting for somebody to come and tap you on the shoulder and say, are you one of those bee people? And you have 35-second window of opportunity of telling them why, not 3.5 hours, 35 seconds to telling them why. I can remember my wife and I graduated in Great Falls High School, went to my 50th class reunion. I walk in the door. I weigh exactly walking in the door what I weighed when I graduated 50 years ago. I never saw so many people with canes, crutches, and walkers in all my life. Nobody wanted to talk to me about my diet until I went to the bathroom. I walk in the bathroom and some clown comes up to me and said, you ever sneak out and get a burger? You ever go to McDonald's? Now let me ask you, would you be prepared to answer that if it happened to you? I was ready. I turned around, I looked him in the eye and said, does your poop float? Never too late to educate somebody, no matter where it is. So be prepared. I can slow down if you want to catch up. Anyway, I'm the first guy that I know of in North America that was publicly talking to the American public about bovine spongiform encephalopathy, mad cow disease. Nobody wanted to hear it, even though that it will incubate from 10 to 40 years, 100% fatal. I'm talking to people about it, and all of a sudden,